Hi, folks, and welcome inside Manhattan basketball for the first time in the 2013-2014 season. Chris and I will joined by the head coach of Manhattan women's basketball, John Olenowski. Coach, off-season is over with, preseason just about over with. We're only a couple days away from the start of the season.
Yes, we are, and we're excited, and it's time to throw the ball up and start playing some real basketball games, and the entire team, the entire program, we're very excited to get going this year.
Obviously a disappointing way the season went last year. You do get that win in the MAC tournament, though, that I'm sure is going to be a way for you guys to kind of springboard yourself into this season.
Well, we won 2 of our last 3 games, and one of the losses, of course, was Marist, who won the whole thing, and believe it or not, it was the closest game they had in the entire tournament. So we were thrilled with the way that we played down the stretch, but of course very disappointed in the overall performance and record of last year. But we've moved on, and we've got a completely different attitude and different basketball team, and we're excited and very, very positive about the upcoming season.
A lot of the same players, though, do return, and of course it starts with your seniors and your all-MAC guard and Monica Roeder.
Yeah, and Monica's been all-conference for 3 years in a row. This is probably the best I've ever seen her. She stepped up her game, and we think she's going to have a tremendous senior year. But she's worked very hard. She's a great leader, and I think she's ready to step up and have a breakout type of a season. And of course, Allison Schreck is our point guard, and she led the conference last year in assists by over 1 per game. And she had a really, really good year after she came back from her injury. So we're excited, and we think we certainly have one of the best backcourts going in the conference, and we think that they'll really lead us to some really great wins this year.
You talk about Allison. She split a lot of time with Maggie Blair, obviously, in running the point, and Katie Reese came on strong at the end of the year as well. With that point guard position, obviously it's been one that it's been difficult to hammer down a solid one for the last couple of seasons. But with this rotation, do you feel as though you have a solid group of point guards for this team?
We absolutely do, and of course Allison is a tremendous point guard with plenty of experience, and Katie came on late during the year and has been really, really good in the preseason games, and Blake Underhill has done a really good job, and she's very, very athletic. She gives us another dimension at the point guard spot. So all 3 have stepped up, and they're playing really, really well. So we're excited that that position is very, very solid.
I want to talk a little bit about the front court as well, because you bring back Shayna Erickson, who last year was one of the top performers in the MAC, not just among rookies, but amongst everybody, really. What is her ceiling like now with a year under her belt?
Well, she's so much more experienced. She's playing so well. She's always been such a strong rebounder, and her defensive game has picked up nicely. She's in tremendous shape. She just goes on and on and on. So I think that she's going to be way better this year than she was last year, and she was very, very good last year. So we're excited about her improvement and how hard she's been working, and we think she'll be great in the front court for us.
And obviously you bring back Ashley Steck, who may have been arguably the most improved player last year for this team.
Yeah, Ashley is one of those players that can play inside out. She's got a really great touch from the outside, and she's much, much stronger inside, and she's a good defender, so she really has come back in peak shape and really ready to play a key role for us this year. So I like her inside-outside game right now.
Along with the freshmen that you bring in, you almost get a brand new addition as well, with finally Kyla Champagne healthy.
Right, yeah, she'll be ready to go very, very soon, and we're just so happy to have her. She's practicing well, and she's so athletic, and she just really provides that intensity on the defensive end and rebounding, and her scoring has improved, so we think she'll be a huge help for us, and we're excited to have her back.
Let's talk about some of those new players, and obviously you've got one in Maeve Parahus, who, just watching the exhibition game on Saturday night, you notice a couple of things. She's very versatile, number one, but then defensively she also gets after it.
Well, she does, and being 6'1", she's very long and a very, very good athlete, and you saw what a great shooter she is. My God, she can knock down to 3. She was Player of the Year in Rockland County, and if there's ever a player that we brought in that was like perfect for our system, it's Maeve, and she's picked it up so well. She's such a great kid and a great learner that I think the ceiling is so wide open for her. I think she'll be tremendous this year as soon as we start playing our games, whatever. we think she'll be such a great addition for us.
Joining her in the front court as a freshman will be Kayla Grimmie, who it seems is when her and Shayna can get on the same page together, that's a formidable front court.
Oh, it is, yeah. And Kayla, I call her Grimmie, but everybody else calls her Grim. And she's got a toughness about her, and she's a relentless rebounder and very, very tough player. So we're excited to have her on our team, and we think she adds a whole new dimension for us.
Talk about the other guard that you bring in, the freshman in Nicole Anderson.
Yeah, tremendous athlete, and she's learning a whole new system right now. But she is as good an athlete as anybody in our conference, and she gets up and down the floor really quickly, and she's a really good defender. So we think she adds another new dimension for us, and we're excited about her and her development.
Had a chance to see the team perform on Saturday night. Obviously not the result you were looking for in that exhibition contest, but a lot of positives to take out. And one of the ones that I noticed is that Nicole Isaacs is going to get a lot more playing time, it seems, and she's a little bit more consistent as a scorer.
Well, she is. She can knock down the three.
Mm-hmm.
But what we really love about her is she stepped up defensively, and she's handling the basketball. So she's probably right now, without a doubt, our most improved player that's playing for us. And I think she's going to have a tremendous year. This is the kind of year that I've been waiting for her. When we recruited her, we knew she was this good, and she's playing at a whole different level right now. But I'll say one thing, Christian, about that exhibition game. If it wasn't for a pretty off-balance acrobatic shot at the buzzer, we wouldn't be saying that.
Right.
But we didn't like the result, because other than that, it seemed like we just about had that one in our grasp, whatever. But it was a great game to play, and we learned so many valuable lessons in that game.
We talked about it a little bit earlier, but the rotation of this point guard position with obviously Katie and Blake now as well, how much are you going to be leaning on those two to help pick up where Allison leaves off when she comes off the floor?
Oh, very much so. They all have a different dimension to them, and we can use that as a strength for us, and we're going to use that. But the good thing about it is they're both very versatile too, and they can play other positions as well. Katie, hit some huge threes in our last two victories down the stretch last year. So, we think that she can play a second position, the two-guard spot, and she can play that probably equally as well. And Blake gives us tremendous versatility as a really good athlete. So, besides spelling the point guard position, they're able to play other roles as well, and that only makes us stronger.
You've got a couple of other players that are a little banged up right now, obviously Mickey Guyton and then Alex Cohen as well. When those two are able to get onto the floor, what do you expect to see from them?
Well, Alex Cohen is another very versatile player, and she hit a couple of threes in our game in one of our scrimmages, and she really looked good. And then she came down with a foot injury or whatever that, we think she'll be back and ready for the first game. But she does provide us some versatility. She's a good rebounder, very, very smart, heady basketball player. And Mickey, when Mickey eventually does get back on the floor, she's probably as good an athlete as any we've ever had here at Manhattan. And in addition to that, she learns really quickly, and great rebounder, very, very strong kid inside. So we like her athleticism, her size, and her intelligence in there.
One person we know we're not going to see this year, but next year, Jackie Thompson, the transfer out of Wagner. She is going to be such a help for you guys in practice.
Well, she is. She's such a leader already, and she hasn't played a game for us. But I'll tell you, I love the kid. Loved her from the second she came over here, and talked about wanting to play for the Jaspers. She's infectious. She's a great kid with a great personality, and a very, very good basketball player. We saw film on her where she had 12 points against Syracuse, and anybody that can do that can certainly play. But she's so strong, and she's so smart that we just can't wait for her to get in uniform next year.
So let's look ahead to this season, and obviously the big changes within the MAC, the two new additions, Monmouth and Quinnipiac. How do you think that's going to affect the landscape of this conference?
Well, I think it affects it, certainly because Quinnipiac is rated as a very high basketball team. They won 30 games last year, so I think they're going to be a very big challenge for everybody, including the top teams in the league. And I think Monmouth has always been very solid as well, and they've got some really good recruits this year. So they actually played and they beat us last year, so we know how tough they can be. So I think they're both really quality programs. They're so well coached. And I think that I think it's great for the MAC to have more balance than we had even last year.
Obviously, every season for the last decade, it's been Marist as that team up at the top. Who do you see as that team that can legitimately challenge the Red Foxes this year?
I'd like to think we're right there, Christian, to be honest with you, because we always enjoy that challenge for sure. And, and I think that I think even Marist recognizes that we, when it comes time to play them, we're very excited and not really, awed, whatever, like maybe some teams might be. But until somebody knocks them off, they have to be considered the top team in the league. They've got everything you possibly want from a program, and it starts with the top. Brian is one of the best coaches in the country. Their players are really, really good, and the depth that they have is just tremendous. So knocking them off will not be an easy task by anybody, but I think that everybody is going to be vying to, for that spot. I think that there's more than a couple of teams that will really, really try hard to get into that upper echelon, and certainly we're one of them that's going to be our goal this year.
And of course, not to forget something you bring up all the time, and rightfully so, Manhattan, the only team to defeat Marist in conference the last 3 seasons now.
Yeah, which, we're really, really excited about that, and of course, again, it's nice, but really, if you're going to achieve your ultimate goal, that has to be done when the lights are on in the championships at the MAC. That's when it really seems to, certainly would matter the most.
Well, MAC plays about a couple months away. The season does start, though, Sunday night at Fairleigh Dickinson, starting on the road here for a little bit for this Manhattan team.
Yeah, our first 3 games are on the road, starting with Fairleigh Dickinson on Sunday night. They beat us last year. They've got a majority of their players back. Pete's a terrific coach, and he's the kind of guy that'll throw the kitchen sink at you defensively, and we have to be very prepared for that. And he's got some really quality athletes, some really good young kids that have been added to the program. So we've got our hands full, and we kind of know that we've got to go over there and play well on the road to have a chance to be successful. And that's what our goal is to try to really work hard and be ready for that first game.
What are some of the things that you guys are focusing on specifically with FDU?
Well, I think it's very, very important that we rebound the basketball well, and I really think it's important that we have great defensive pressure. And I think it's also very, very important that we execute our offenses, each and every time down the floor, where we take care of the basketball and no turnovers and, all those kind of good things that you prepare for every game. But, again, they're a very, very good basketball team, and we've just got to be prepared to go in there and play our best. It's
right here, just 6 days away. The Manhattan women's basketball season opens at Fairleigh Dickinson on Sunday night at 7 o'clock, a contest you can hear live on GoJaspers.com. And a reminder for our next Inside Manhattan Basketball and the rest of the season, if you'd like to ask Coach a question, you can email us at gojaspers@manhattan.edu, or you can tweet us at gojaspers. And don't forget, you can follow Coach online as well at John Olenowski. Coach, thanks a lot for the time.
Thank you, Christian. I appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us inside Manhattan Basketball.